guzheng is like a long rectangular
Mm-hmm.
instrument, and it has a bridge, little.
How many strings?
Either 25 or 21.
I think it's 21.
And the strings get longer and thicker as you go down.
Yeah.
And you have to wear these turtle shell nails that help you use your fingers to pluck the strings.
So why do you think some of the strings are thicker and some of them are longer, some of them are shorter?
I think it helps the sound somehow, because thicker is lower and thinner is higher.
Right. And it's the same thing in a piano, right? If you look inside the piano lid without it hopefully falling on your head. And, like the old Bugs Bunny cartoons. But yeah, you're right. Shorter strings generally produce the higher pitches, the higher notes. And they don't resonate as long. They don't last as long. If you strike the note, the sound will die out faster than if you go to a really low string, which is longer and thicker. If you strike that string and you let it stay on it, the sound will go a lot longer, right? So then we're starting to get into, kind of what we could say the Harmonic Series, what the Harmonic Series is, which is something you'll eventually learn about, but it's one of the most important things in music. Why, a good way of saying it, the science of music, why sound is a certain way, why notes sound a certain way. What's some of your favorite music? Do you like performing anything in particular or listening to something?
Alexander Hamilton.
Alexander Hamilton.
She likes the musical Hamilton.
Oh, the musical. Oh, the Hamilton musical. You like all that music?
I've never seen it, but I listened to it.
That's really popular right now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really different, really unique. It's really very cool.
Yeah. Do you want to ask them some of your questions that you prepared?
Okay. I play piano on a traditional Chinese instrument called guzheng. Do you play any instruments?
I do. The first instrument I ever learned when I was a young boy was the trumpet. And it was, it's kind of a funny story actually. I chose the trumpet because it looked the easiest, because it only had 3 buttons on it, Well, of course we know them as valves, but they looked like buttons to me when I was a kid. I'm going to close this door. Just excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
There we go, that's a little better. So I started on the trumpet when I was very, very young, and I really loved all the other instruments too. So I started learning percussion, French horn, trombone, the woodwinds, and I really loved composing music when I was a young child. So I wanted to learn as much about the other instruments as I could. But I did stick mostly with trumpet for a while, and then I got very serious on piano as I composed more and more music. And now I basically just play only piano.
Daddy used to play trumpet.
No, I played saxophone.
Oh, saxophone.
You know what? The saxophone is actually the loudest sounding instrument of all the instruments in the orchestra.
Is it really?
It is, yeah, decibel level wise. Like they've recorded some amazing levels.
Yeah.
The players. It's pretty cool. Saxophone's a fun instrument. I like that one.
What made you want to be a conductor?
Oh boy, that's a tough question to answer. I love so much about music. I love being able to work with other musicians. I love being able to create new music as a composer, and I love being able to interpret the music of others as a conductor, which is one of our primary jobs. One of our most important jobs is to help interpret and bring to life the music of the composer on stage with all of these other musicians and instruments. So I really love that so much, and being able to hear the orchestra play the music, and it comes right back to you very quickly. You give a downbeat, and then there's music. It's really a very fascinating and special experience, and I love being able to work with players like that. So conducting allows you an opportunity to study new music and learn new things, and it's a lot of fun. And travel to really cool cities like Baltimore. So.
Do you have a favorite kind of music or composer that you listen to?
You're asking me all these good questions, but they're so hard to answer. I love so many types of music. When I was a really young boy, the thing that I fell in love with first, the first kind of music that I really remember loving, was film music. actually. You know, the music from like Indiana Jones or Star Wars or, you know, Jurassic Park and eventually Harry Potter and, you know, all these wonderful movies that I know you're aware of some of them, especially Harry Potter. All 8 of them.
I also like Star Wars.
You like Star Wars? Well then you love John Williams because he wrote the music for both, didn't he? He's a pretty good composer. Have you ever seen the movie or heard of the movie E.T., the Extraterrestrial? Yeah, it's a
But
really...
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? Maybe when you're a little bit older. It's a really beautiful movie about an alien from outer space and a young boy who become friends. And John writes this amazing music. Again, more music by John Williams. But classical music I love very much. I love big symphonic music. I love solo instruments playing classical music. But I also love other things. I love rock and roll, and I love jazz. I really love jazz. Since you mentioned the saxophone that your dad plays, some of the best used to play. Okay, fair enough. Some of the best music for jazz is for saxophone.
But we still have the saxophone underneath his bed.
Maybe you might want to try and sneak it a little bit and learn how to play it.
I keep telling her.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
You play too many instruments already.
I only play 2.
Yeah, the Van Doren reeds are the kind of the most famous of the. You know what the reeds are in the instrument? Like these little tiny pieces of wood. Have you seen those on a saxophone? On the mouthpiece where you put your mouth and you play, there's little tiny pieces of wood that they put on there. They're very thin, and that's what helps vibrate the sound. That's how you can create the sound on a reed instrument. There's saxophones or clarinets or oboes, bassoons, things like
my
this.
oboe.
Oh, my oboe. Yeah, I know. That's what probably most parents say when their kids are learning the oboe.
How do you conduct?
Oh, jeez. Well, there's a lot that goes into it, right? The most important thing is what you do with your hands, because that's how you keep the tempo. So you have either a baton, or some conductors conduct without a baton. But the most important thing is being able to learn how to use your hands. But there's a lot more to conducting than just your hands. Your face is very important. Being able to communicate to people how you're feeling. If you're performing music that perhaps is happy, you probably don't want to have a on your face, right? And if it's a sad piece of music, you probably don't want to look like this, right? So it's very important, your face. It helps to communicate how you're feeling as a conductor, and it helps the musicians understand perhaps how the music should feel. So that's very important. How you stand is also very important. You know, the more up you are like this, the easier it is for people to watch you and follow you. So there's a lot of things that go into it. Most of them are physical. But before you ever even step onto the podium and conduct, what you have to do is really study the scores and study the music. And that's what we kind of, as you know, what we all have to do before we play.
Do you think it would be fun to write music?
I think it would be a lot of fun, and I know it's a lot of fun because when I'm not conducting, I'm usually writing. So I love composing, and that's how I started. Actually, I started as a composer before I ever became a professional conductor. So I was writing music first and started conducting when I was 16, and then now I do both. So it's been about 20 years of me doing both composing and conducting, and the best part about composing is being able to try new things and hear new sounds and experiment with what putting a note in the oboe versus putting a note in the trumpet. What are the different sounds between oboe and trumpet? Or what if you combine the oboe and trumpet at the same time? Or if you add a third instrument like a saxophone, but not playing the same music, maybe only playing rhythms while the other instruments play melodies. So composing is a lot like painting, where you're achieving colors, but colors with sound instead of colors with paint. And so the possibilities are endless. That's a lot of fun.
Do you only conduct to movies, or do you conduct to other music?
I try and conduct as much music as I can. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone for me is one of my favorite movie scores that have ever been written. And so I love being able to conduct this music. John Williams has written an incredible score for a very, very well-made movie. Now, Christopher Columbus, who was the director of the film, made a wonderful film. And he had a very difficult job because he had to take a very, very famous book that the whole world knew, but turn it into a movie that people would enjoy and still feel was just as magical as the book, which is not easy to do. So I love conducting film music because of the challenges, you know, keeping the music together with the film, which is to say always making sure that the music is synchronized or in time with the movie so that it matches the right scenes and you don't have happy music during sad scenes, you know, everything should match. But I love conducting classical music. I love performing even still, and every once in a while I still get to perform as a piano player, but not very often because I do so many other things. But conducting allows you to do all kinds of styles, you know, jazz and classical and orchestral music and film music and all kinds of fun things.
What did you want to be when you were 7?
I wanted to be a composer and a conductor when I was 7. It's the only thing I've ever wanted to be, other than one other thing. And I never ended up doing it, but I was really close to taking a break from music. I really wanted to be, and you might not know what this is, but I really wanted to be a Navy SEAL, which is in the military. It's something that is in the military, but I really, really wanted to do that, but never did. But the only other thing I ever wanted to do was be a musician, a composer, and a conductor. So if you set your goals and you know you really do have dreams, just follow them. Do whatever you can. Just make sure each day you wake up and do something you enjoy, and eventually, you know, enough days of doing things that you like, and you might find something that you really want to do for your whole life.
Well, sort of every day I wake up and I do academics.
What do you like about academics? Do you have a favorite subject?
Language arts, and we don't really do that.
Okay, language arts. Like, what kinds of things do you like doing?
Unscrambling words.
Okay.
You like reading and writing. Yeah.
All right.
And you like art.
I also like multiplication.
That's a good thing to know.
I'm right now learning it.
Yeah.
All right. What do you say, honey?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to have met you and spoke with you. Thank you for coming over.